At the time of recording, Christmas is coming and I was trying to figure out what grimdark item I would like. I made a list, but I already have it or I don't need it. What I want for Christmas will come at the end, but you may also be buying a wargamer you love some presents. And if you are the wargamer that you love, then this may give you some ideas of what to buy yourself for Christmas. Or birthday. Gift time. It's difficult at Christmas to buy the right gift, but we're socially expected to buy things that people didn't ask for, but we have to make sure that it's something that they want. Please do not buy the models. They will buy the models that they want, let them manage their own pile of shame, and they'll buy them when they want to buy them. I don't think there'll be many Sisters or Genestealer Cult players waiting until Christmas 2024 to get the new models that come out with the codex. So you shouldn't buy models for someone else. Now, the reason that the clamavus and the castigator are crossed out on the thumbnail is more of a running joke. The castigator is a fine tank, it just lacks a church organ firing missiles. The clamavus is okay competitively, it's just that when I think of a resistance movement made of alien hybrids, I don't imagine the power of music in their arsenal. So you might buy the wrong models for them, even if you know their army. People can be very particular about the models that they get, the models that they will have to paint and build and then play with. Wargamers don't necessarily like all of those steps. So imagine if they want a dog, and you know they like dogs, so you get them a Doberman. But they wanted a Dachshund. That is the emotional level we're on. They want a Harpy? Which one? They want a Primera Psyker? There are several for different armies. As a child, I was asked what army I wanted. I said Chaos Space Marines. I was given Space Marines at Christmas. There's one word different, but they are completely different armies. In theory. So if your nephew likes tanks, which game system? Which army? Which tank? Get a name and double check it. Don't just get a picture, otherwise you may end up getting a very similar bolt-action Sherman for someone who wanted a Rogel Dawn. These are, of course, completely different tanks. And the scale is different anyway. Check again that what they like is currently the system that they're playing. Maybe the game system they liked the last time you talked isn't what they play now. You might have seen them scrolling through Firestorm games or Gap games, things that are linked in the description through affiliate links. And maybe they were looking at Age of Sigmar, fantasy stuff. But now they've moved on to Lord of the Rings. So don't get them Age of Sigmar. I really liked 2nd edition of Age of Sigmar, but by 3rd edition, with its rules laid out like a legal document, I kinda lost interest. I wouldn't want more of those models. Don't give wargamers models. Unless you have been given a sheet of paper with a picture and a name and it's circled like 3 times in red so you can go to the store and when the staff member asks what they can help you with, you don't need to speak. You just hold up the paper and point. There are some simple gifts that you can get anywhere without going to specialist gaming shops or gaming websites like those in the description that will give you discounted items compared to buying through Games Workshop. I mean really simple things. A tape measure. A lot of games come with measuring sticks or rulers. Tape measures are so much better. If it measures in inches and centimeters, it works. Really simple gift, but very necessary for wargamers. Boxes. Big plastic storage boxes. If they have a lot of armies, it's great for storing the armies, and if it has drawers, then they could put one army in a drawer, and they can pull that drawer out and take the drawer with them to the game. It's not just a storage container, it's a transport container. Along the lines of transporting armies, an empty toolbox. They have a handle, a big space in the bottom. They can be good for carrying armies. And I say empty toolbox because you don't want it to be full of tools. You're not buying them a full toolkit. Just the box. Not everyone wants the really large expensive carrying cases with foam inserts perfectly crafted for their models. Maybe they do. Might be worth checking. Toolboxes often have space at the top for markers, tokens, and emergency glue for repairs to models. Or you could get them a knife. Something like this, a proper knife. I don't recommend the Games Workshop scraping tool. That is like a knife without any edges. If you go into a Games Workshop and ask for a model of the month, they'll sit you down with a pair of clippers and a scraping knife which isn't really a knife. But that's there because they don't want to give out knives to children in stores. Even something like box cutter in appearance, that works. And they can use that for the smaller fiddly parts of models to cut them away. But if all they have is a knife like that, they're going to want some clippers. The models come on sprues. When you're trying to get them off the sprue, cutting them with a hobby knife against a table, no, not good idea. Clippers make life so much easier. As soon as I got clippers, life was better. These are not nail clippers, hobby clippers, like these. others are available. But thinking of that, a cutting board. Do not buy a chopping board. This is not kitchenware. This is not, oh, it doubles up as a model board. But you could, and cutting boards are inexpensive. I know you want to be like, oh, I want to shower this person with gifts and money. Not everyone can afford that. Not everyone expects that. Cutting boards can work. If the person you're buying for likes painting, get a mini light. It can make painting in poor light conditions a lot better, and if they like to take pictures of their models afterwards, having a tiny light that they can shine on the model to counteract any shadows will make their photography much nicer. You could get a painting magnifier for them when they are painting, and it really helps them paint those eyes. Remember, for eyes, I would paint the color of the eyes and then a tiny bit of white on either side, assuming that you can see through your magnifier to do that. Don't do a line of white and then a tiny black dot in the middle. That's not how eyes work. You could get them a paint palette, not a paint easel, but something very simple, or you can get them a wet palette, which helps keep the paint usable for longer sessions. It doesn't dry out as quickly on the paint palette. You can go even simpler. Go into generic shop and get blank or lined paper. This can be used for writing army lists and writing down useful notes in the middle of game. The 40k app only lets you have one army list unless you pay for it, but writing down your army means you can have as many army lists as you have pages in the book. You can go back to them and overwrite them and tweak them, and you can see what was there before because it's paper. It's pen and ink on paper. When playing a game, you have a record of all the games you played if you want to keep that. You can write down how many victory points you scored each turn. You can write down what for. Things that the app doesn't necessarily track. And wargamers can write reminders for themselves, which is easier to see in game when it's a physical thing and not just a note that's somewhere in your phone. So remember grenades, or remember you are loved, or command phase, neophytes generate command points. Useful for that. Gaming specific gifts will depend on the game system that they use. And if they're going to be painting a lot, they're going to want something to listen to. Recommend this channel. See if they want to subscribe. Then they can listen to me or watch me while they paint models. I didn't do an introduction, did I? I'm Christian von Carmian. It is pronounced Carmian. They are lovely people, but I think everyone I've been in a video with either hasn't said my name, needs help to pronounce it, or mispronounces it.
Okay, you're gonna have to help me out. I have been practicing your name. Christian,
Christian von Carmain?
Carmian.
Von Carmain.
Carmian.
40k Vtuber?
And people can't seem to spell it either. At least you know how to pronounce and spell Christian. It is a common word at this time of year. Assuming you're watching this around Christmas time. If you could please also stop putting crosses up everywhere, it makes it hard for me to go shopping. Shopping for things like paintbrushes. These don't need to be expensive. You don't need a super deluxe brush made of mogwai hair. It just needs to do the job. It's nice to have backup brushes. Look at what the wargamer you're buying for uses. The ones that look the most frayed will be the ones that need replacing. You can buy brushes individually or in sets. If you can make it subtle, like you're showing an interest, compare their brushes to makeup brushes. If you wear makeup, ask if those brushes would work, and then when they reply no, only Citadel small layer brush would work. There you go. That's the brush they need. You could get them a dice tray. They're pretty inexpensive, but it's nice to have an area where you roll the piles of dice so they're not scattered all over the table and you have to pick them up again. It also means that players can roll their dice out in the open where both of them can see what's going on, and they're not going, oh, yep, that dice that fell behind a wall, that was definitely a 6. Dice trays, pretty inexpensive, come in lots of bright colours. You can get patterns on them, not a Von Carmian pattern, but they're a useful gaming tool. A lot of games use objectives. Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k, Infinity, all use the same kind of marker. A 40mm size token or mini diorama. You could get them a marker like that. Or you can get them a mat, which has an aura around it for the objective range. Now this is different for each gaming system. Age of Sigmar has a 6-inch radius around the marker for when you're in range of the objective. Warhammer 40,000 is a 3-inch radius. But if you know which one of them they play the most, getting these little circle mats, which are essentially made out of mouse mat material, is going to be really useful. They're probably a bit more expensive than you think they should be. But you are, in essence, buying 6 mouse mats. You could buy them some terrain or battle mats, but they may not be the correct scale for their games. You can get terrain that is paper card, but it may need to be stronger to support metal models, something like thicker card. If it's a battle mat, then it might be the wrong gaming system or the wrong size. You might buy them a 48-inch by 48-inch mat, but you didn't know that 40k is now on a 60-inch by 44-inch gaming board. Is that going to fit the table they have? A large square of wood that can go over a 4-foot by 3-foot dining table and turn it into the right scale of table might be a good idea. But before you make changes to their house or your house, talk to them about it first. Perhaps talking to this person you want to buy a gift is the best. Unless you're planning for this to be like a grand gift-based confession at Christmas, like, I guess I like you or something. Here's the Pariah Nexus Crusade book. Is receiving gifts their love language? You will do better with words than gifts. You are the gift. I'm rooting for you. Gifts are very much not my love language. If you got me a gift, I would think, great, now I need to find somewhere to put this. I like money. That isn't a bad gift in my opinion. So, I suppose you could just give them money, not a gift card that limits them to one shop, where it could be, oh, here's a Games Workshop gift card, and they'll be thinking, if I'd got the equivalent amount of money and then gone to the description in Von Carmian's videos, then I could have used those affiliate links, and I could have got more models for less money. If you get them a card with some money inside and say the money is for their models, that shows that you know what they like, but you didn't want to risk them getting a model they already have or giving them something from the Tau range. The greater good is not accepted in the Imperial cult. But money, they can spend it on whatever, even food. Maybe take them out for food or make them a chicken nugget in the shape of a bolt gun. That might be a better Christmas gift. Why is money bad as a gift? You had to work for it, spending time in a place you didn't like as much as being at home to get it. And now that you have it, you can give it to them and they can spend it on whatever they want. Currency is a universally accepted currency. If it feels weird that you are just paying them to like you at Christmas, gift giving is the same thing, but with more steps. I like money. I accept money. I hope that I've given you some ideas. If you are just starting out yourself as a new wargamer, I have 10.5 bits of advice for new players, or tips that will help you with a loved one who is just starting out on their Warhammer 40,000 journey. My darlings and viewers, have a great day of 40k.